Okay. Freedom, 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 freedom. Ooh. Freedom, 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 freedom. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Freedom, 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 freedom. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, ooh. Yeah. Hi world, my name's Sativa, and this is my walk away video. I didn't actually walk away from the Democratic Party. I was thrown out. In 1991, I'm an old girl, in 1991, I went down to the San Francisco Democratic headquarters with my friend, and we said, don't nominate Bill Clinton. Don't disrespect the Democratic Party by nominating Bill Clinton. We knew about Bill Clinton when he was in Arkansas as the governor. He was doing all kinds of bad things. He was letting them fly drugs into the airports in Arkansas. Lots of cocaine was coming through there and heading to different states, and it would fly into Mena, Arkansas, and he would, as the governor, he would look the other way, and they would then distribute that heroin and that cocaine all throughout the United States. He was all part of that. And he was stealing money from the taxpayers and the senior citizens. He had a lot of schemes and scams going back then. And so we went to the Democratic convention in San Francisco, the Democratic headquarters, and we told them, don't nominate Bill Clinton. And we tried to talk to a lot of different people about it, and we didn't get a good reception. They were mad as hell that we were bringing up that Bill Clinton, that we were saying don't nominate Bill Clinton. They were mad as hell that we were speaking against Bill Clinton, and they circled us. And they pushed us out the front door of the Democratic headquarters. And when my friend tried to get back in, they locked the doors. So they threw us out, they locked the doors, and we went into instant protest mode. We were protesting the Democratic Party for nominating Bill Clinton and for being so fascist and not being able to tolerate our opinion. This is back in 1991. They couldn't tolerate dissent back then. And so I turned back around, they called the police on us. We told the police said, what are you guys doing? We said, we're protesting. We've got First Amendment rights, and we're protesting the Democratic Party headquarters here. And we said, we're going to be here for a half an hour. And the cops were cool. The cops were like, cool, good luck. And they just rolled off. And we went and we protested them. And I turned around, I looked at all the little Democrats. They were staring out the window. They were so sad that the police hadn't arrested us. True story. So this is how I started to learn about the Democratic Party. And it has rather fascist attitudes towards dissent. Nothing like today. I mean, today they're full on. They'll punch you, throw things at you, grab your hats off your head, make you scared to express your opinion. Really, fascist. And the Democratic Party these days, they're godless. They're pulling babies out at 9 months. They're deciding whether or not they want the baby to live. I mean, it's gone way, 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 way overboard. And one of the reasons I think they're doing all this is because they like to harvest the organs of the babies, and they use the babies. They use babies to do all kinds of things. Those dead fetuses, they use them to grow vaccines in, because they can't use humans, but they can use fetuses. They use them for organ placement, stem cells, you name it. They've been using those fetuses for a long time. And it's all coming out. I don't know how many of you saw the video where the person was wired with video, and he had a lunch with the head of Planned Parenthood, and he pretended he was going to buy fetuses for his biotech company. And the Planned Parenthood administrator was like, yeah, how many do you need? I can get you as many as you need. I mean, it was hideous. And that's when I realized, oh yeah, they like us to have abortion because they have a lot of then human tissue to work with. I know it sounds gruesome. It's so gruesome it doesn't even sound real. But this is what's been going on with us for a long time. The Democrats have led us down a horrible road, really bad road. And what they're doing today is just outrageous. I've been a feminist for a long time. I mean, since I heard the word feminist, I jumped on the train. And I've been a feminist for a long time, but I didn't become a feminist so that I could accuse a man like Brett Kavanaugh of gang raping women, even though I know it's not true. I don't like him, so I'm going to keep telling everybody, oh, he gang raped people. You know, I didn't become a feminist to use my power to ruin people. You know, especially people like Brett Kavanaugh, who have obviously lived their life like a saint. To accuse him of doing rape trains, I mean, he's my age and I'm from Baltimore, and let me tell you, there wasn't nothing like that going on. It's a very close-knit community. But anyway, so I heard that woman, that fake woman up there, what was her name? Oh, Blase, tell her story, and it was so fake. I mean, she went to the party with a friend. There was 6 boys and her friend there. So she gets assaulted by these 2 boys and she leaves, but that means she left her friend at the party. You left your friend at the party where two of the boys tried to assault you, and you left your friend. And so the woman who was questioning her during the hearing said to her, well, She said to her, well, did you talk to your friend after the party? And she said, oh, no, my friend, oh, no, we talked the other day, she said, you know, like 30 years later. I mean, there was so many holes in her story. So when I see what's happening today with the Democrats, I am so glad I left the party in 91. I left the party. And so now we got this incredible man. He's really not a Republican and he's not a Democrat. Donald J. Trump, he is the center. You have so many different kind of people, you know, me, freedom, and then you got like, you know, Sean Hannity, who I respect a lot. He don't like marijuana, and Laura Ingraham, they don't like marijuana. They don't understand marijuana, but we all love Donald Trump. I mean, I love him just as much as they do. You know, I know who he is just like they do, and so, you know, it's crazy, but Donald Trump is the center, and he's bringing us all together because he's going, you know what, you guys, we have open borders. And other people are like, oh, we'll keep the borders open. You know, every country in the world has borders and thinks about border security and takes their border security seriously. Mexico having some of the most strongest immigration laws and border security of anybody. You know, they just don't let people in. Thailand, I was in Thailand. They don't like Americans that come over there and work. They're very aware that it takes jobs away from Thai people. They don't like it, you know. So what the Democrats are doing now is they use the word racism. You're a racist. That accusation to scare you. Oh, I don't want to be called a racist. Oh, I'll believe you. I side with you. You know, they're using it as a fear tactic. They go, Donald Trump a racist. That's laughable. That's really laughable. What's your proof that he's a racist? They go, oh, Charlottesville's our proof. But really, Charlottesville? Oh, there were white nationalists there. Well, yeah, there may have been some white nationalists there, but there were also a lot of people there who were merely protesting the taking down of the statue. Because some people are attached to statues and are attached to statues that represent history. Good or bad, it's representing our history. And so there were people there with that opinion, right? So that's why Donald Trump said there were good and bad people there. It just wasn't that simple. It was a complex situation going on there. Oh, that's their whole proof that he's a racist, Charlottesville. But then actually, if you think about it, Donald Trump, number one, he gave a lot of money back in the 80s, long before he became president. He gave a lot of money to the Push campaign. That's my neighbor with his motorcycle. I don't know if you can hear him, but anyway. He gave a lot of money to the Push campaign, which was Jesse Jackson's program to get black folks up into the business world and become business people. And he gave a lot of money to that program. Now, does that sound like a white nationalist? Does it sound like a racist? Donald Trump, you can Google it. He had a black girlfriend for 2 years. And she said, I never heard him say anything disparaging about any race. You know, so does it sound like a white racist? I mean, they're lying. They're lying because they're being mind controlled by the fake news media. CNN, NBC, you know, you get it, the Washington Post. Why? Why is the press so against him? The only reason I can think about it is because the press is owned by very wealthy people who like the idea of globalism. They like the idea of being able to control the whole world, one world order. They're all for the one world order. I never thought the liberals would fall for it. But now the liberals are behind, excuse me, behind the globalists. They like the globalists. I'm not into globalism. I'm not into that. I like the fact that everybody has different culture. They have different nations. They have different places where they grew up and different values. And you go to this country and it's like, you go to Ireland and it's like this, and you go to Africa and it's like this, and you go to India and it's like this. I like that idea. I don't like the idea of one homogenized world. And I believe I'm a nationalist. Many people all over the world are nationalists. When I was in Thailand, every day they play the anthem and everybody freezes. You're not allowed to move, do business, eat, nothing. When that anthem goes on, you stand in place. They are fiercely patriotic people. Talk about nationalists. I mean, the Thai people are nationalists. And what are you going to go? They're racist. Those Thai people, you know, it's just so ridiculous. Don't be afraid of them calling you a racist. Oh, you're a Ku Klux Klan. They've called me everything. Oh, you must be Ku Klux Klan, racist. Da, da, da. They try to scare you. Oh, now it's you say anything. Oh, you're a Russian agent. You're a Russian agent. But that's all coming to pass too. That it was Hillary Clinton and the DNC that hired the law firm for millions of dollars to create a dossier. And the dossier was created with the help of Russian people. And now we're finding out all kinds of things. Even Manafort. Manafort was indicted and found guilty of something he did like 14 years before he ever got involved with President Trump. And if you go back and look at the indictment, it mentions the fact that he was working with Tony Podesta. Tony Podesta is the brother of John Podesta, who was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager. The Manafort whole thing, and the press didn't cover it at all. They kept saying, Manafort, Trump's campaign manager. No, he's being indicted for something he did with the Podestas. He did it with the Podesta group. So somehow, you know, the money he made off that, he didn't announce or whatever. But you know what? If you look at, like, you take 10 Americans randomly and you study them under a microscope and you study their friends. And I want all you Democrats to think about this. If they studied you and they studied all your friends, the FBI, they might find some tax evasion. They might find some welfare fraud. They might find some pot selling, drug smuggling. You know, you can always find a crime. There's so many laws. It's hard to be 100%. I think Donald Trump's been 100%, but you know, really, because he's such an honest guy. If he did anything wrong, they would already get him for it. He's amazing. But anyway, so that's what the Mueller Nazis did. Is, you know, they go look at, and they had to make him up with Roger Stone. They had to make him up. You know, that just, oh, wake up, America, wake up, Democrats, wake up. Donald Trump is waking us up. I think what a great person Donald Trump is. He didn't have to help us. Donald Trump lived a great and beautiful life. He had a beautiful family, had a beautiful wife. He was a billionaire. He's a billionaire, or I don't know if he is still anymore, but he was a billionaire. And he decided to leave the ivory tower like Buddha, because Buddha did the same thing. Buddha was from the wealthy family, and Buddha saw people suffering. And Buddha came down to help the people. Hasn't Donald Trump done the same thing? He's come down from the Golden Tower to come and help the people renegotiate NAFTA. Remember, Bill Clinton signed NAFTA? And since NAFTA was signed, America's lost 600,000 corporations to the third world. And that didn't help the third world. Basically, we outsourced all our pollution to the third world. And then we got stores like Walmart that want to help us with all of our gadgets and all our consumerism, because now they're making them from children in the third world. The children who have there are no laws, labor laws in the third world. So they get the children working with the parents all day. This is where our gadgets are being made from. This is what happened after NAFTA. You know, before Clinton signed NAFTA, you couldn't call like Sears or one of those companies and have somebody from India answer the phone. When I grew up, I'm 54 years old. When I came up, you always talked to an American on the phone when you called a company. We all know it's not like that anymore. This is all effects of NAFTA. Walmart and Amazon getting these products from the third world, putting everyone out of business. You know, I mean, we got to decide if that's what we really want to do. We got to decide if we're going to take this ride, or we're going to decide if we want Trump change. I don't want no chump change. That was the Clintons. That was the Obamas. I want Trump change. Wake up, Democrats. You've gone just about as low as you can go. I have a friend from California. I'm in Hawaii, but I have a friend from California who was visiting the other day, and oh, I don't like Trump. Why don't you like Trump? Oh, I don't like Trump because he's told 9,000 lies. Really? Could you name even 5 of them? Well, no, but I don't like Trump. I said, well, you know what? And he has the best health insurance you can get. I mean, you can't, we call him the $2 million man because he had cancer, and Kaiser has now spent $2 million keeping him alive. That's what good insurance he has. He hasn't paid a dime, right? He's got the amazing insurance because his wife worked for Kaiser. So I told him the other day, I said, you're not going to vote for Donald Trump, you're going to vote for one of them Democrats? Well, guess what? You're going to lose your health care. Oh, no, he said, no. He said, Kaiser's too big. Oh, really? Oh, really? They're going to socialize medicine. They say 180 million people are going to lose their private health care, and you're going to be one of them. I said, you going to vote for Trump? Or are you going to vote for lose your health care? You know, he had to think about it because he's not thinking about things like that. You know, he's all, no, Donald Trump lied, you know. that's what he's got, you know. Barack Obama, he didn't lie. He said he was going to close Guantanamo Bay. He went spy on the Trump campaign. What else did he do? He dropped 26,000 bombs on Syria in 1 year. He had the guy from Monsanto, head of all of our food, the FDA, the food thing, whatever. I mean, he said, what else did he say? He said he was going to reverse the Patriot Act. Nothing. He strengthened it. Oh, and I found this fact out today. The FISA courts, you know, the FISA courts are a special court where they can actually issue warrants to spy on Americans. Well, guess what? That court was made by Jimmy Carter, during Jimmy Carter's time. It went in place in 1978. And guess what? It was up for it was going to be sunsetted out, right? No more FISA court in 2008, and Obama redid it. He redid the FISA court, and then he used it. He is part of that whole cabal who used it to spy on the president. You guys think Watergate was big? That was just like a couple of people trying to break into the headquarters of the DNC. This is major. Surveilling Americans because they're working on a political campaign. Those Democrats are out to lunch, and then they want to be like the masters at not getting it. You notice that? They're like, oh, no. Oh, what? When AG Barr said... that, yeah, there's definitely evidence that they spied on Trump. Oh, what? Oh, it's conspiracy. You know, they're just so fake. And I know a lot of us can see through it. They're just so fake. And the snowflakes are just melting. I've lost a lot of friends because of Donald Trump. One of my really best friends, at that moment I thought that woman was my best friend, one of my best friends. She sent me an email. Well, because of our national and international differences of opinion, I think I need to take a hiatus from our friendship. Yeah. And that was over Kavanaugh, because I wouldn't say he was a rapist. Yeah. I mean, this is a woman who works the public education system. I tried to teach her about semiotics, you know, that language of signs and how signs influence our thoughts. Now she's doing a course on it. She's the most brainwashed, mind control woman you ever want to meet, but she's doing a class on semiotics. You know, these Democrats are something. There's something else. Talk about hypocrites. And I hear that if they lose 5% of the African American community from their voter rolls, they can't win an election. That's why they've been pushing the racist narrative so bad. So what we know from Candace Owens, people like Candace Owens and others, we know that the welfare system was just to keep poor people and black folks up in the projects, strung out on welfare and food stamps, so that they wouldn't have to compete with all the people in Congress and the Senate. They're going to get it in the corporations. They get a free ride because all those brilliant people were stuck up in the projects. I mean, Candace Owens lays it out, how they just totally just wiped out the black community. No, if you're going to get this free money, you can't have a man in the house. So then they broke up the family. I mean, it's just, you know, this is what's going on these days. It's all coming out. You know, and that's why I say to you liberals, walk away. Don't be caught as one of the sheep being mind controlled and fooled. You know, we hear a lot about George Soros. George Soros is funding a lot of the caravan, and he's funding a lot of these groups that are agent provocateurs and starting problems and beating people. It's all being funded by George Soros. The sanctuaries and all that is funded by George Soros. Who is George Soros? I went and saw 60 Minutes, and I encourage everybody to do this. I watched 60 Minutes with George Soros, and this was way back in the day, like this was like 40, 50 years ago. He told the truth of who he was. Yes, he did. He said that when he was a teenager, he went around with all the Nazis just to save his own life. He went around with the Nazis, lived with the Nazis. Yeah. And he told the Nazis who the Jews were in his village. He pointed them all out so they could get executed. He watched them shoot them and they fall into a mass grave. And he had like this little smiley thing on his face. This is the man that's funding all the globalism. See, Bezos, Mr. Bezos, Mr. Bezos. He likes that trade agreements where we don't charge any taxes, where all of our corporations go over to the third world, because he likes those cheap products. See, he likes those cheap products. If our President Trump, our great, fabulous, wonderful President Trump, puts the tariffs on all those third world products so he can make America great again and we can get our corporations back, then Bezos gonna lose all his money. Mr. Bezos gonna lose. He's okay. He's got plenty of money, but I'm just saying he needs to keep his business going because he's in space travel and shit. That stuff's expensive. So he need to keep his stuff going, and he just had that big divorce and all that stuff. And I do astrology. I could tell you all about that. But anyway, so anyway, yeah, he needs that. He needs that trade coming in free, untaxed. Donald Trump's like, no, we're going to make America great again. We're going to bring our companies home, because really, it's all about sovereignty. We're in this country. You might not like the fact that Trump's making oil and gas lines and stuff like that. He's letting them do it. But you know what? We use oil and gas. So you want it happening in another country so that you can buy it here and have clean air while in the other country they're choking? No. If we're going to use oil and gas, then let's produce it in America. If we're going to buy all these crappy products from Walmart, then let's produce it in America. Because that's the only way we're going to come to consciousness about all that we're doing, is we have to see it. We have to smell it. We have to smell it. Otherwise, we're not going to change it. If we keep dumping it all and outsourcing it all to the third world, we're just going to keep going. So that's what I'm saying. Donald Trump is righteous. And you guys, you're all phony liberals. You don't get him. Anyone who doesn't get Donald Trump is a phony. They're not really an activist. I promise you. Because if you're a true blue activist, you get Donald Trump. All these other people, they're just running for money in their career. Oh, God. So we're all jumping on the Trump train. Not the Trump change of Obama and Clinton, but the Trump change. We're going on the Trump train of change. I can't say that 10 times. We're going on the Trump train. Train. Because Donald Trump is doing such a fabulous job of waking us all up, showing us that the fake news media that always stayed in the shadow, we never recognized who they were. The fake news media now has to come out and fight. And in coming out and fighting, they've exposed themselves for who they are. Right? And then you get people like AOC. I mean, that girl cracked me up. Number one, she wants to give, saw a video where she wants to give her skincare secrets. It's like, your skincare secret is the fact that you're 29 years old. That's your skincare secret. You get up in the morning, you splash water on your face, you run out the door, you're still beautiful. You're young. Wait till you get to be my age, 54. Then you get to talk about your skincare secrets. And I don't, like AOC says, oh, I want the Green New Deal, but I wear sunscreen every day for 19 years now. Doesn't she know that sunscreen is killing the coral reef? She doesn't know that. So she's like, Green New Deal, I wear sunscreen every day. And then she wears tons of makeup and stiletto high heels. I mean, this is not the role model. This is not the role model for our women. And then you got Omar. Okay, what do I got with Omar? Just this. I think it's hysterical when Omar stands next to feminists. Well, American feminists. I think that's hysterical because Omar is a Muslim who respects Sharia law. Sharia law is in the Quran, so they say, and it came from Allah, so they say. And Sharia law has this practice that they do, and I'm not going to describe it because it's hideous, but I want you all to Google it, and it's called female genital mutilation. I mean, FGM. Go Google it. I did. And it's a practice that they do to all the young girls when they're like, they start it when they're baby. It's a whole process. And then they continue it when they're 4. And I think it's done by the time they're like 6. Okay? Because according to them, it's in the Quran and it was sent to them by Allah. And read about it because it's a brutal process. Here in our country, we would consider it child abuse to do that to a female child. It would be like, I think there is a woman in prison, a Muslim woman who got caught doing it. It would be child abuse. Okay? But they all do it, and they've all had it done to themselves. Who are people that we know that practice Sharia law? Well, let's see. Huma Abedin, Hillary's friend, her parents wrote a journal about Sharia law. They were huge Sharia law supporters. So we know it happened to her. The cultural practice happened to her. We know her husband was out, exposing himself to young girls on the internet. Well, now we know why, because his wife has had that cultural practice. Once a woman has had that cultural practice, you no longer feel any sensation down there. It's gone. Okay? And so Omar, I know because she's a Muslim and her people practice Sharia law. I mean, come on. She's had it done. Now she has a daughter. My suspicion is that she's done it to her daughter. Because they do it to each other. It's just, they really believe in it. I read it all about, you can read it on the internet, they call them cutters, and they have a whole network in the United States. You think, oh no, it has to happen in Muslim countries. And no. Anywhere there's Muslims, anywhere in the world, all over the United States, in any state, there's a whole underground network that does it for each other. I mean, because they take it seriously. I don't know if Allah told them to do that, but here in this country, we don't play. Leave me alone. Freedom for everything. So we don't play that, and that's child abuse. But I know she's done that to her daughter. And I know, and I'm saying all this because she stands on the same stage with feminists. And I want to say to those feminists, she doesn't like you how you are. First of all, you don't cover your head. Secondly, you're not modest with your shorts and your tank top. And 3, you still feel pleasure. And that's not allowed in Sharia law for a woman. They take care of that. And so I just laugh at these feminists because I go, you don't even know what's in that woman's mind. Lisa Salazar or whatever from New York. I mean, you don't even know what's in these women's mind. They think that all you little feminists running around, they think that you're just like immoral with your body parts showing and your shoulders and your arms and all that. They think that's terrible. And I'm not blaming them. That's their culture. So remember I said everybody's got their culture. When you want to experience Sharia law culture, you go to that part of the world where they play that, So it's just like everybody's got their culture. Well, now that culture is coming into our country, and they have no interest in following our laws. They're going to keep their cultural practices going. So we have to decide as a country, if we want to go there, if we think that's right for little girls to have that done to them. And then for their mommies to sit in Congress. Unbelievable. You Democrats are just something else, and I'm sorry I participated. I'm sorry I somehow contributed to this. Because I, for a long time, was, I don't know. I guess I was pro-choice, but I didn't know what they were doing with the fetuses. I didn't know the fetus experienced pain. If I had known that, no, it was told me that it was just a clump of cells and it didn't experience any pain. It was numb. But now we find out, no, that fetus fights for its life. I had to rethink things. Now DNA, and everybody carries their own DNA, and I realized, the Creator gave this gift to women, but we're kind of the transport unit. And if we start taking it personally and killing them babies, then, And the other thing that Candace Owens, I have to bring her up again because I'm so impressed with this youth. She said, black people are like 6% of America, and yet we get 40% of the abortions. They're killing black babies. And I'm like, wow, I never thought of it like that. I can't be pro-choice anymore because I have to say, wait a minute, we need some rules. They're selling them babies for biotechnology. And my little liberal friend goes, well, at least they're contributing to good things. So gross, so gross. She's a privileged little liberal. Dottie's a doctor. She's all whatever. But anyway, so I don't know. This is what's going on. I'm so glad I'm not a Democrat. I haven't been a Democrat in a long time. I registered Republican when Ron Paul ran because he was super cool and he had a lot of good ideas. And so that's when I registered Republican. And I don't know, I've just kept that ever since. I didn't vote for Obama Even though at first I thought, oh, look at Obama. Oh, he's so cute. Who is he? But then, number one, the press loved Obama, so you knew he couldn't be real because they were fawning all over him. They don't fawn over people who really are righteous, people who are for the people. They ignore them or they ridicule them. That's what they're doing to Donald Trump. That's how you know he's the gift. He's the gift that keeps on giving. So anyway, I'm going to wind this up. This has been a crazy rant. It's gone all over the place. I've had fun doing this. This is a great experience. I encourage others to do your walk away. And I hope this maybe if somebody watched it the whole time, they, oh yeah, I'm going to check this out and maybe I'll walk away. All right, everybody. So I'm coming from Hawaii. I'm going to do the Hawaiian thing to close it out. Aloha! Okay, let me get that little thing. Hold on. What is it?